Hi everyone, and welcome to day one of our Seed Cycle Hormone Reset Challenge. I hope that you have had a chance to have a look at our first video, that you have downloaded the Hormone Reset PDF and had a chance to have a look at our cookbook as well. If you haven't, that's totally fine. Go back and watch that at a later point. Today I want to get straight into it, and I want to tell you all about seed cycling for our hormone health and also talk to you a little bit more about the phases of our menstrual cycle. Often when I'm introducing seed cycling to people for the first time, there is two sorts of responses. So there's the people who will say to me, oh my goodness, yes, I did this years ago. My acupuncturist recommended it. It helped me fall pregnant. And then other people who are like, never heard of it. Why not? Sounds interesting. I want to learn more. I actually came across seed cycling because I was searching for foods that I could add into my clients' diets to support their hormones. I was working with a couple clients who the goal was weight loss, and they were doing all the right things. They were making beautiful food choices. We were doing EFT tapping to manage stress levels. They were eating mindfully, but it would get to that time of the month and the PMS symptoms would kick in, the cravings would kick in, and it would all feel like it would fall apart. And I also knew that there had to be a hormone imbalance going on because of the symptoms, and if we didn't bring those hormones back into balance, the weight loss wasn't going to happen. So I came across seed cycling. It really just ticked off all the boxes for me. It's an intuitive practice. It's using food as medicine. We're adding something in that's completely natural. We're just talking about seeds, which I'll explain. And so it's something that I started using with my clients, and over the years I just noticed that it was like that missing puzzle piece, and people added seed cycling in on top of all the beautiful other things they were doing. Like, let's be honest, it is a holistic approach and there is no one magic bullet, but seed cycling seemed to be that missing puzzle piece, and then everything would come together. And so seed cycling can be described as menstrual biohacking, which sounds pretty cool. But all we're really doing is we're having certain seeds at certain times of your menstrual cycle when your body needs those nutrients. And so we're using 4 key seeds, and we break them into 2 phases. So phase 1, we are consuming flaxseed and pumpkin seed. And phase 2, we're consuming sunflower and sesame. And the way it works is that those seeds have certain nutrients, vitamins, essential fatty acids that support the production and elimination of key hormones, estrogen and progesterone. When these 2 key female sex hormones are out of balance, that's when we experience those PMS symptoms, the painful periods, the migraines, skin breakouts, and the list goes on. But really, they're all a sign that there's something going on and those hormones need a little bit more support. And to be honest, this day and age, in our modern world, our hormones are just bombarded by endocrine disrupting chemicals, by stress, by toxins in our environment and in our water, and so we really need to do everything we can to support them. The short-term consequences of a hormone imbalance are those symptoms that I mentioned, but the long-term consequences of having too much estrogen or not enough progesterone and having that imbalance are really serious conditions, menopause conditions, thyroid conditions, and things we really want to avoid. And so doing what you can now to support your hormones is really setting you up for longevity, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. Now, I mentioned the 4 key seeds, and these seeds you may already have in your pantry, and so you may be able to grab them out, grind them up, and package them yourself, so to make it really convenient for you to start seed cycling. The only thing I recommend is that they are certified organic, and this is really important because we know that the herbicides and pesticides can actually disrupt our hormones, so we don't want to be doing that. And also grinding them up. So a lot of my clients will say, why are you saying we need to grind them up? And that's because our bodies can absorb the nutrients better, and specifically like flaxseed and sesame seed. If we don't grind them up, they just go straight through us, so we're not getting those nutrients. If you feel like that's all too hard to do it yourself, which that's the reason I created the products, because my clients were telling me that all the time, you can head to our website, use the discount code 10 voucher for $10 off, and you can use our products. So I've got them in the 2 phases for you. So we've got the phase 1, which is your pumpkin seed and flaxseed, and your phase 2, which is sesame and sunflower. And so it comes with a scoop, and you're adding each 1 scoop each day. So the way it is, you are having phase 1 from day 1 of your period to day 14 or ovulation, and then phase 2 from ovulation back to day 1. And so all you're doing is you're having a tablespoon of each seed or 1 scoop of ours, and you can add that into your morning smoothie, into a porridge, on your salad at lunch. It's really versatile how you take the seeds. Now you may be wondering how you seed cycle, or if you can seed cycle, if your cycle is irregular, if you are going through perimenopause, post-menopause, you may be on the pill, and the answer is yes, you can absolutely seed cycle. And seed cycling is such an amazing way to support your hormones and your body during those times. And so the way you would seed cycle when you don't have a cycle, or it's irregular, is using the moon phases. And now the moon phases mimic a menstrual cycle, which is really cool, and women throughout history have used the moon to mimic and regulate our cycles, as well as to support fertility and ovulation. So it might sound a bit woo-woo, but it's actually really, really powerful. And so what you're doing is you're having phase 1 from a new moon, and then phase 2 from a full moon. My clients who are seed cycling post-menopausal will tell me things like, oh, I feel so much more youthful, my digestion feels really great. And sometimes clients will be a bit hesitant because they'll say, oh, well, I don't have those hormones, so do I really need to do it? But my answer is yes, absolutely. Continuing to live in that cyclical manner, follow the moon phases, take the seeds, enjoy the nutrients from them, enjoy that rhythm. Now, I've spoken a little bit about the phases of the menstrual cycle and when you need to be taking the seeds based on the phases, but I want to go into a little bit more detail about this because it's not something that we were taught at school. And knowing this information and knowing the different phases of my own menstrual cycle has just been life-changing for me in so many different ways, but mainly the best way I can describe it is like life just feels easier. We can break our menstrual cycle into 2 major phases, but 4 phases overall. So we've got our follicular phase, which is from day 1 of our period to ovulation, and then we have our luteal phase, which is from ovulation back to day 1 of our period. And so our menstrual phase is when we are bleeding, and for me it's often a time when I am setting my intentions for the month, setting some goals. There's a really great book by Lucy Peach called Period Queen, and she talks about in our menstrual phase, it's like our dream phase, and so often we feel like we want to stay at home a little bit more, and we turn inwards, which is really beautiful. And then our follicular phase, and this for me, most people say like the premenstrual luteal phase is like the most difficult, but the follicular phase for me is really can be really full on, and Lucy in her book describes this really well because this is our do phase. So this is when, for me, I'm wanting to like tick everything off my to-do list. I can feel a lot of energy and just wanting to get stuff done. And the follicular phase is a really great time of the month to get a lot of things done, and really you're being more active, and on the go, and so just knowing that, and knowing like, oh no, it's not coming from a place of anxiety. It's just coming from like, it's just a lot of energy for me, which is good because I want to get stuff done. And then our ovulation phase, Lucy describes this as our give phase, and I feel this so strongly in my life. When I'm ovulating, I am usually in the kitchen more, cooking for my family. I'm wanting to catch up with friends. I'm wanting to connect with my kids and my family. I find public speaking a lot easier. I feel much more articulate, I feel sparkly, and it's just a really nice phase that I enjoy. And then our premenstrual phase, or the luteal phase, Lucy describes it as our take phase. And this is where often we try to push ourselves too hard, and we try to be in do, or we try to be in our give phase, and really what we need to be doing is taking for ourselves. And so for me, this might be going a little bit easier at the gym, or going for a walk, or booking myself in for a massage if I can, and just doing things that fill me up, and knowing that this is the feelings that are coming up in my luteal take phase, whereas really it's just the phase that I'm in. And in a week, 2 weeks, I'm going to be in my do phase again, where I'm going to be getting stuff done and having all that energy. So really just embracing the phase that I'm in, understanding the phase that I'm in, and how I can support my body in each phase, like I said, has just been game changing and made life so much easier for me. So I hope that helps. I hope that you have a clearer understanding of how to seed cycle for yourself. If you do have any questions at any time, please reach out. I respond to all the DMs on our Instagram. I am always on the emails, hello@theseedcycle.com.au. Enjoy today's task. Share with us on Instagram. Tag your seed cycling meals and snacks for inspiration, and we'll see you for day 2.